So, Garrett, nice to finally meet you. I'm glad you can make it in today. Did you find the office okay?
Yeah, I found it. I live in the area, and so I drive by it all the time. I didn't know this is what the building was, so.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't.
Nice.
So I was like, oh, that's what this building is. So.
Cool. I'm glad you're able to find it okay.
Thanks.
Have you ever been in therapy or gone to any therapy sessions or seen a therapist before?
No, this is my first time. I mean, like, my wife and I, we kind of did some years and years ago. We kind of did some like couples therapy, not
Okay.
like because we were like experiencing issues in our relationship. We were just we wanted to, like, a lot of our friends were kind of getting divorces, and we kind of were like, we don't want that.
Uh-huh.
And so we kind of just said, let's go meet with a counselor just to see like how we can kind of build our relationship.
Okay.
And so that's the experience that I've received in that kind of when it comes to like therapy or counseling. So
Yeah, so it was just with you and your wife, and so it was another person, but you haven't been to any individual counseling.
No.
Where it's just you and the therapist.
no, I have
What
not.
was your experience with the couples therapy?
Um,
How do you feel it went?
I mean, it was good. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Just because it wasn't necessarily kind of like an experience of, well, in that experience, it wasn't like we're here because we're having issues. It was more like we're here for just more education, how we can, strengthen our relationship. And so I think it was good, and I think the counselor, she did a really good job with kind of, keeping us engaged and kind of giving us some things to work on, which was nice. That way, like, which is what we wanted to do, so we could, build our relationship. So
So it was beneficial.
Yeah.
Like, I'm assuming, are you guys still together?
yeah, we're sure.
Okay, good. Yeah, so was beneficial for you. So a little bit with how individual therapy works, and I don't know if the previous counselor went over it also, but have you heard of like informed consent, confidentiality? Does any of that ring a bell?
I know of confidentiality just be, I don't remember, it was a couple of years ago when we did that, but I don't remember her talking about it. I just know confidentiality based upon, like, I work within like the within like IT and like programming and stuff, and so like I know confidentiality kind of in that regard, but not in this aspect.
Okay. Just a brief explanation. So informed consent is basically, I'm just going to give you kind of a layout of what this will look like. So, essentially today we're going to meet for about, kind of roughly half hour, 20 minutes to a half hour. We're kind of, we'll go over, kind of like what's going on, kind of like an introductory type phase, just kind of get to know each other. And then with the confidentiality thing, so there's this federal regulation called HIPAA, which basically we're going to go Vegas style, right? Vegas style is everything that happens here stays here. What we talk about stays here. I won't, nothing, I won't say anything to your wife, family, anything. It's just between you and I.
Okay.
It's a lockbox. There are a few exceptions where I have to break that confidentiality. Those exceptions include, thoughts of suicide, homicide. If you feel, if you ever feel like you're in danger of harming yourself or someone else, and then also abuse of a child, whether that's physical abuse, sexual abuse, even emotional abuse in some cases, neglect. And while that's with children, it's also with the vulnerable population, such as the elderly, individuals who, maybe have some disability, a mental illness, kind of that vulnerable population. So, just to give you a forewarning, anytime that is brought up, by law, I have to report those. And if that happens, I like to have you there with me, when we make the calls or when I have to report it, just so you're there with me, so you know what's being said. It's not like I'm not making anything up. I want you. I want a lot of transparency within this within our relationship. And that includes those confidentiality guidelines as well. So I just kind of want to give you a rough. And does all that? Do you have any questions about that? Does that make sense?
No, it's pretty pretty clear and straightforward.
Okay, good. So why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? Tell me why you're here, or what's going on with your life, or what brings you to see me.
For the past couple of months, it's just been, there's been some, I've been out of work. Like I lost my job. It's July now. I lost my job back in kind of like beginning of May. Beginning of April.
Okay.
Like I worked with a program developing company, and we just did a lot of worked on computers and stuff, and I worked there for many years, but they just had a lot of budget cuts and things like that, and I was part of it in the department that I was in. And so I've lost my job, and I've been scrambling, stuff like that, trying to find a new one, but I just haven't been able to get anything. And it's hard just because I'll go and I'll apply for jobs, and I'll give them my resume and everything like that, and I'm just kind of not qualified because for the past couple of years I've been so busy with work trying to maintain and manage all these accounts and all these other things that we have going on within the company, that I just haven't been able to keep up on my training on the new software and new things like that that have been coming out. And so these other jobs that I'm applying to, that's just what they keep saying and expressing that to me, that I'm not qualified and stuff. And so it just makes it really hard, and it's been tough because I have 4 kids. My wife, she was, we thought I was doing well enough financially that we were hey, it's okay if you would she wanted to stay home, kind of take care of the kids. And now because of this, she's had to go back part-time working at her old job. And so that's tough because I have to come in and kind of take over the reins of what she was doing, to just kind of, because she's making the only income right now, and it's hard because we're living a lot on our savings, and that becomes difficult and frustration. I'm just so irritated. I'm angry. I'm just finding myself as I've applied to 8 different jobs, and each one of them have kind of just been no. And so it's just, I don't know, I just kind of feel I've wanted to throw in the towel because it's just hard, and I feel like I'm a failure as a father because I can't have a job, I can't make money, and most of all I feel like a failure to my spouse, because I feel like the one thing I've always wanted to do when I decided I wanted to get married was I'd always take care of her and do what I can, but I'm falling short of that, and I'm putting a lot of the really now all of the burden financially on her in a job that she teaches the first grade part-time, and so it's tough because it's she's not making money in public school, and I'm really tired. I'm really sad. I'm irritated. I'm everything. I'm failing, and I've noticed that I haven't been sleeping very good. My eating has been terrible. I've noticed that lately I've been kind of going to the bar a few more times, and I've kind of been hiding that from my wife. It's just bad.
Yeah, that's got to be frustrating. That's got to be hard. I know, especially in this, labor market. In this day and age, it's tough to find a job. It's really hard to, and in IT jobs, computer jobs, computer programming, that's kind of the new wave of the the future is computers and technology. So the competition has got to be hard. There's got to be a lot of people. I can imagine a lot of people looking for jobs. With the background you have. So what I'm kind of hearing with what you've told me a little bit is you're feeling down. I hear a lot of hopelessness. Maybe a little depression, a little bit. I don't know. I guess why don't you tell me kind of what you would like to get out of these sessions? What would be the ideal situation, or what would be the ideal outcome? As far as like setting goals, what you would like to receive, what you want it to look like.
I don't know. I think probably I'd love a job. That'd be nice. But
Okay.
I think I don't know. I've noticed I've had like this lack of confidence
Okay.
the past, probably like the past it's been since April, so it's like over 3 months.
Yeah.
So I'm having like this lack of confidence kind of within myself because I don't feel like, because it's hard like when I've taken, the rejection of multiple jobs and they've kind of, like my own job fired me and then I've applied to these other jobs and they're kind of like, yeah, no, no. And I'm like, okay, well, that signifies to me that I'm not good enough. And so I feel like for me, like it's really, I'm having a lack of confidence. So hopefully I can, by doing this, and I know this is kind of something like I know my wife would appreciate too, is just so I have more confidence. So like if I do go into an interview, I can just sit there, because for the last two, I was just like, well, shit, I got fired from the last ones. I ain't getting this one.
Yeah.
And so hopefully, I don't know, hopefully I can have more confidence in myself that I can, just I don't know, I guess have more self-love, so to speak.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean like you have depression. I'm just trying to get a kind of picture of placing myself almost in your shoes. Like if I was going through what you were going through, I would be sad, depressed, angry, frustrated, all the stuff you were kind of mentioning. So what have you, it sounds like you're a smart person. You put money in the bank, you had a bunch of savings, which you're living off right now. How, and you said it's been about what, 2.5, 3 months without a job. So you said since April, right? And you must have done a really good job saving money to last that long. So with that, I guess, has there ever been a time in your life where you've gone through hard times, like maybe not exactly this situation, but where you've kind of had the odds stacked up against you, or you've dug, you're in this hole and you can't see a way out, but somehow you had crawled out and you got out of that situation? Have you ever experienced anything like that in your life prior to this event?
Probably, I don't know. I don't know. Probably kind of probably when my mom died. It's probably a hard thing, just because when she passed away, my dad has really struggled, and he kind of has like early. We had to put him into a home because he had started to have like early onset dementia. And so I think that was a really hard thing just to go through, and to, because my dad, I don't know, it was a hard thing because he, my mom passed away, and like I'm the one that lives the closest, because my other siblings, they kind of live out of the state, and so I kind of like had to handle all of that. And so that was kind of really tough. I felt like I was never going to be able to like deal with it, with my mom passing, and then like trying to deal with my dad, who has dementia, because it was hard when he'd be like, he's like, where's Colleen? Where's she at? And it's like, Dad, she died, and so, but I was able to, but I think, I don't know, I feel like I was able to handle that. Like, it was sad, but I felt like I was okay with it, because my mom, she had cancer, and, and so it was, I think I was able to handle that the best that I could and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
And you made it through it, and you survived.
Yeah.
You have all 4 limbs, and you made it through it.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta tell you, I can relate with you a little bit with my grandpa had dementia, and I understand how hard it can be on the family, on the extended family. All the time and effort it takes to take care of them, to show up, to deal with the frustrations of not remembering things. One time my mom went over to check on him and was outside acting like he was mowing the lawn, but he was using the vacuum. He was outside vacuuming the lawn. So I can sympathize with you on that level. It's really hard. But the positive of it is you made it through it. Is you got through it, you survived. And I kind of want to go off that same experience of while it's a different experience, a different event, the feelings and the thoughts and the hopelessness are kind of the same as what I would imagine you're experiencing now. Have you heard of what's called CBT, or cognitive behavioral therapy?
I mean, I remember back from earlier when my wife and I were in doing therapy. I remember like every now and then that counselor would bring that up. So
okay,
yeah, I've heard the term, and I remember kind of going through, but it's been a few years, so I've kind of forgotten what it was about.
Okay, I'll kind of explain it to you, but listening to kind of what's going on, it sounds like that's kind of how we'll approach this situation. And I want to show you a couple things that I don't know about you, but I'm kind of a visual learner, and so I'll write it down on paper, and I'll show you kind of how it works and maybe how we'll approach this situation moving forward. How with the job situation, because that's one of your main goals is finding a job. So are you actively out applying and looking for jobs and putting yourself out there? I know it's hard. I know it's rough. Looking for jobs and job searches, they're hard work in of itself. It's a lot.
Yeah, I've applied. I mean, like I said, like I've applied to many jobs, and like I've right now I currently have 3 applications that I've turned in with other companies, and so I'm just I'm waiting to, I'm waiting to see like what happens with those before I kind of respond. I mean, before I start applying to other ones, because I don't want to like have like 6 different things out there, and then like the first job that comes, I jump on it when like a better job comes later. Mm-hmm. So I'm just waiting to see what happens with these next ones.
Okay, all right. So you are actually progressing towards it. You're not just sitting back and expecting the job to come into you.
Yeah, I'm trying,
Yeah.
and like that was something
Good.
like my wife
Good.
wanted me to do.
Good
So
for you. Good for you. Okay, so back to this CBT thing. So I want to show you a little bit how this works. So with this, we have how CBT works is we have this event, right? So you're gonna write this event. And from this event, you have your thoughts. And from these thoughts, you have your emotions. From these emotions will dictate your behavior. And the behavior reinforces the event.
okay.
And or the thoughts. Okay, so for example, we can use this situation that you're going through right now as the event. So the event is you lost your job, and so you lost your job, and you lose your job. What were some of the thoughts that you went through your head when you lost your job?
Probably like failure.
Failure?
Like kind of like I'm a failure. Like not going to be able to provide for my family.
So inadequacies?
Yeah, and like I definitely felt some inadequacies. I know I felt some thoughts like I felt personally within myself. I felt worthless. I felt let me not felt. Sorry, I thought if it would ever get better, like if I'd ever find a job, you know.
Okay. 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 So from these thoughts, you experience emotions. So, and how I like to think of emotions is emotions are your body's reactions to your thoughts, right? So if I'm feeling sad, my emotion is I'm gonna cry. So that's my body's reaction to the thoughts. So what kind of emotions have derived from, say, these thoughts of failure, inadequacies, feelings of worthlessness?
Oh, definitely like sadness. I mean,
Sadness?
yeah, I've been sad. I mean,
Okay.
more than usual lately.
Okay.
I've been frustrated. I've been feeling some frustration
Okay.
because of like in myself, and also kind of just like and I'm also like frustrated with like other like with really like I think there's a lot of frustration with my company for what they because I felt like I had been there for I was like I was the highest tenured person that got fired, and I was really because there were people who had been working half the time that I'd been there, and they stayed on. So I'm just really irritated, like frustrated. Some other emotions, I guess, like I'm just. I think there's anger in there. Angry.
Yeah, I would be angry too, especially after being the longest tenured person there.
Yeah,
I would definitely be angry. Okay.
I know I'm anxious too, like just because I'm anxious because I'm having some like feelings of anxious because I don't know when the next job's going to be there. I don't if it's even going to come.
Yeah. So like fear of the unknown.
Yeah, I'm like I think fear's a big one too.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Good job with the awareness and recognizing that. Okay, so from these emotions, what it then transcends into is behavior. So, what could be some of your behavior or some of some actions or something that have transpired because of this sadness? For example, you had mentioned it earlier. You remember what it was with you were drinking a little bit more. So that's an example. So you're drinking a little bit more.
Drinking more. Kind of hiding it from my wife too.
Okay, so being sneaky.
Yeah.
Sneaky. Okay. Alrighty. Give me one more behavior.
I feel like I've been lazy. I feel like I've been becoming lazy because of just it's like I don't know. I've kind of got like this. Well, it's like I'm just not going to get a job. I'm just not going to get it, and so I'm like, what's the damn point? What's the damn point of like trying to find one?
Good, because what this behavior then does is it reinforces the event. Okay, and I'll use this for an example. Is you're feeling lazy, why even look for another job? So the event is now you're not applying for jobs, right? So the event is now you're not applying for jobs, and it just creates this what I like to call a snowball effect. Just one thing leads to another, and it just ends up being this huge thing that based off of one event. So what I like to do now is with these thoughts, what are some thoughts that maybe are opposite of the ones you were feeling? So you have this event and you lose your job. What are some different thoughts? What can maybe you can practice in not feeling these automatic thoughts to feeling something more positive?
Probably like
positive thoughts.
Probably like I can get a job, like I can find a job,
Okay.
Probably like, I can do it. Probably like,
So you are adequate.
yeah, I am adequate.
Okay.
Um,
Smart.
I'm smart.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to show you how this works now. So you had this event, you lost your job. So you have these thoughts of you're adequate, you're smart, which you feel those. What would be some of the emotions you might feel from those thoughts?
Well, I'd probably feel more confident.
Okay. Confident. Give me one more.
Probably be happier.
Happier. Okay. Okay. And from these emotions, what might some of those behaviors lead to?
Probably wouldn't be drinking like I am.
Okay.
I'd probably show more gratitude to like my wife and her genuineness for accepting what she has, instead of kind of holding it as like a resentment, I guess. Not towards her, but just kind of like towards myself.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. And from those behaviors, what might you do more? What might transpire because of those behaviors?
I'd probably like build my resume and get more trainings done and be more qualified for jobs, I guess.
Good. 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 Now, can you see on paper how just changing some thoughts, right? You have the automatic thoughts of worthlessness, failure, inadequate. Just changing those thoughts to a different perspective, a different lens, of you are adequate, you are smart, you are capable, to feeling confident and happier, to the behavior of drinking less, and appreciating what your wife is doing, because what she's doing is awesome, but she's not, I think she's doing it because she loves you and the family, not because she feels like she has to. Which would then lead to events of more applications, more trainings, so I just kind of want to show you, and we'll work on this as we kind of continue the sessions, but these thoughts of changing these thoughts can affect the way we go about our lives. And so I know it's a lot. I know it's not as easy as, just change your thoughts to be happy. I know it's not that easy, but I just kind of want to give you a rough overview of kind of what we're going to be working on the upcoming sessions. What I'd like to do for before our next session, is I like to do what are called SMART goals. And SMART, the acronym is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-oriented.
Okay.
So, let's say for our next session, because one of your goals was to get a job. Let's do, for our next session, let's say we apply for 2 jobs a day, minus Saturday, Sunday, because self-care is important, time with the family is important. So let's say we have 10 applications by next session.
Okay, that's a lot.
No, or just as many as you can do. Let's shoot for 10. Okay, let's shoot for 10. I want you to be in this with me. So if 10 is too high, what maybe do you want to do? One? Do you want to start out with 1 a day? What seems more realistic? I don't want to shoot for out for the stars.
No, that should be fine. I think I'll just try to find. I'll just try to do a lot of research and see if there's companies I can.
Why don't we do this? Let's do 7 to 10.
All right.
We'll do 7 to 10 applications. Okay, so we will shoot for those 7 to 10 applications, and I just want you to be aware of thoughts. Thoughts when they come up, any negative thoughts, and you can even write them down if you want. So how does that sound?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Sounds manageable.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.